Someone is afraid. You a whole weapon out here. Yes, sir. Let me say it louder. For my chosen ones in the back. Listen, family. Someone is afraid. You a whole weapon out here. Somebody drop down below in the comments and say I'm a weapon. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop down below in the comments, family, and say I'm a weapon. Now I know what you're thinking. But Reno, I don't know how to fight. I don't got no gun, no knife. I don't come from a powerful infrastructure. I don't got the job or the career. Reno, I don't have no type of training. What you talking about, man? I'm not no weapon. Listen, family, I did a basic research, right, on my Googles. Y'all know I'm a Google head. And 2 definitions came up for the word weapon. So I'm going to go ahead and read it to y'all. Now, the first definition that came up was a thing designed for causing physical damage or inflicting bodily harm, right? First definition. Second definition is a means of gaining an advantage or defending oneself in conflict or contest. Ooh. See, family, when you are a weapon, people see you as a person being able to cause some type of pain or harm, even if it's not physical. I'm going to say that once again, y'all. When people see you as a weapon, they see you as a source of being able to cause pain, even if it's not physical. Now, the second definition resonates with me a little bit more, right? I'm going to tell you why. Because it says that you are a source of gaining an advantage. When you think of a weapon, you think of a gun, a knife. When you think of a weapon, you think of a martial artist, someone who has some type of advantage. Even if you have a home team against the away team, who got the advantage? The home team. Why? Because they are at home. They have their own hecklers. They have people who are going to support them and boost them, who's going to help with their momentum. That is a advantage. When the Chiefs, after winning 5 to 6 years in a row, maybe even longer than that, when the Chiefs went down to Philadelphia, nobody cared that they have bred, Super Bowl winnings for the past years. The Philadelphia Eagles said, you at home. We got the advantage. We are the weapons. Reno, what are you saying right now? When you are considered to be a weapon, you have some type of advantage. Maybe for you, that is your knowledge. Maybe for you, those are your looks. Maybe for you, that is how you are able to communicate your humor. But it's something about you that makes you a weapon. And it is on the inside of you. Sometimes, y'all, it takes for other people to notice it before we can. Good or bad. Meaning, you may have a person who tell you, hey, man, you got this. You should start utilizing this. This is your power. This is your gift, whatever. Then you got other people who will notice it. They won't say nothing, and they'll just toot their nose up towards it, hoping that you never discover who you are. After today, you will never be the same. Somebody drop in the comments and say, I realize who I am. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments, family, and say, I realize who I am, all right? And so today, y'all, I'm going to go into depth on what it means to be a weapon and what makes you a weapon, all right? But with that being said, family, y'all already know how we do. Listen, y'all make sure y'all leave a thumbs up on this video as well as subscribe to the channel. Yes, sir. Not only that, y'all, but y'all be sure to ring my bell so you can be notified after every single video I post. Yes, y'all, we are outside connected with nature. The waterfall is going. People are walking around, all right? Birds chirping, right? People working. And everything just feels good out here, y'all. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of hot out here. It feels humid. I believe it's probably about over 75 degrees, right? Could be more, could be less, but that's what I feel. That is what I am projecting, okay? But with that being said, y'all, we're going to go ahead and get directly into this video. I'm sending nothing but love, peace, prosperity, and happiness to you. And if you're having a bad day, hopefully this video is the one that's going to let you know that it can be so much worse. So appreciate your blessings. It's somebody right now who will be looking at you and be like, what? Smile. Somebody drop in the comments and say smile. But anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and get directly into it, y'all. So number one, it's going to be this right here, family. You have all around independence, okay? You have all around independence. Family, this right here makes you a weapon. Financial independence, emotional independence, mental independence, psychological independence, and physical independence. Reno, what are you saying right now? Let's go ahead and break these down, right? So financial independence. Woo, the government, the system, CEOs, businesses, they don't want you to have that because they need you to give them more money so they can be financially independent. But when you're financially independent, you don't take a lot of smack from people. You need finances in order to pay your bills. You need finances in order to stay healthy. You need finances in order to take care of your family, your kids. You need finances in order to have a good time. Let's just be honest. We can just do the free things. The most important things in life are free. I get it. But what about when you just want to go out and have a good time at a restaurant, a movie? Let's see if you can go on there for free. It's impossible. But when you have financial freedom, you are able to make decisions like, I can walk away from this. You are able to make decisions like, I don't need this person. You are able to make decisions like, I'm going to take my chance over here. You don't have to rush, is what I'm saying. You take a person who need that little $8.25 per hour. They need that little $10.50 per hour. They're willing to accept BS from the manager. They're willing to accept being racially profiled, discriminated against, show favoritism to. They're willing to take those things. But when you're financially independent, listen, I don't depend on you for my livelihood. Make sense, y'all? This is where you want to be. Mental independence. See, a lot of us, we have traumas. A lot of us, we have things that we're going through internally, and it all starts from the mental. But when you mentally can will yourself in a space to have peace, when you are mentally stable enough to be by yourself, that is some type of independence. Sometimes, y'all, people are not mentally independent enough to where they need other people to pour into their mental. That's not you. Therefore, it makes you a weapon. Emotional independence. An individual who need validation, attention, love, or someone to make them feel like somebody are emotionally dependent on that person, place, or thing. You want to get to a place to where emotionally it can hurt you, but you are willing to allow it to hurt until you're healed. Somebody drop in the comments and say hurt until healed. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments, family, and say hurt until healed. See, the thing is, love don't go away overnight. And the memories that you have shared and created with a person don't go away overnight either. Reno, what are you saying right now? You have to be emotionally independent in order to be considered a weapon, meaning you're willing to walk away, meaning you're willing to detach yourself, meaning you are willing to do what's best for you and your kids. A lot of times, y'all, we place our kids, ourselves, right, and people who are connected to us through dysfunction, toxicity overall, because we're not emotionally independent. You want to be emotionally independent when it comes to marriages, relationships, friendships, whatever ship is on. In other words, I don't need you to sustain emotionally. I'm going to be all right. Somebody drop that down below in the comments. I'm going to be all right. Okay? And physical independence, y'all. Physical independence. You know, this is when you can physically take care of yourself. Now, I get it when you are getting older, or even when you are a baby, obviously you can't take care of yourself. When I say getting older, I'm talking about like senior citizen ages. Okay, when you got to go to senior citizen homes, or when you have to have a adult daycare, I understand that, right? But you want to be in a position where you can physically take care of yourself, okay? I've seen people in wheelchairs. I've seen people with no arms. I've seen people with no legs. They get it done. They get it done, y'all. They out here fixing cars. They out here fixing food, and they find a way to get it done. They out here painting. You want to be able to be physically independent, and that makes you a weapon. Okay, and of course, y'all, I said psychological. These are the things that has been in your mind that you think of daily, or things that you think of from past tense, or things that you think of in the future. Psychological. All right, you want to be able to psychologically control your senses, psychologically control the things that are around you. You want to have that psychological control, all right, to where a person can't trigger you or pull you into a space or will you into a chaotic space or take you back to where you was psychologically, right? So you want to have that psychological independence as well. And that is kind of connected to mental, okay? But the point still remains, y'all, when you have that independence, man, that makes you a weapon. Example, Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders. I know some people don't like them, some people love them, right? But the point is, you can't take away their financial independence. Deion Sanders has an umbrella for his kids. Point blank period. If they don't want to play football a day in their life again, I'm sure they're going to be all right. I'm almost positive. But that comes from having that financial independence. That makes them a weapon. This is why Shedeur Sanders got drafted in the 5th round. I'm going to show you that your financial independence don't mean nothing to us. He's a weapon. And sometimes people try to de-weaponize you, but never unarm yourself. Stay armed. Stay dangerous. Somebody drop that down below in the comments. Stay dangerous. All right? Number 2, you have leverage now. Okay? You have leverage now. So now that we have now understanding of being financially independent, physically independent, just having all around independence. Now that we have that understanding, now this gives you leverage. So when you have leverage, this means that you can walk into the building talking your talk, talking your ish, speaking about your credentials, speaking about what you want, what you don't want to tolerate. This doesn't mean to go be a butthole. This doesn't mean to go in here talking about, hey, I got this, I got that. I don't work with this person. No, it's just about stating your value. Somebody drop that down below in the comments. State your value. It is okay to state your value. Certain jobs will not take you if you are not up to par to their value. Certain people will not be in a relationship with you if you are not up to par with their value. I know Ocho Cinco said, hey, I don't date no woman who don't have no type of athletic background. That is valuable to him. So value is going to always be a part of a person's vetting process, okay? And seeing if you are up to par to their standards, right? When you have that value, you now have leverage. So you take, for instance, a person who has no following, a person who has no money, a person who is basically a nobody, right? And a record label sees them and say, hey, you talented, but you don't have nothing to bring to the table. You know what? I'll put up all the money. I'll put up all the dough, right? And with that being said, we're going to put you out there. But we want 85% of your proceeds, which means you only get 15%. What this looks like in real time is, if we give you $1 million deal, we take $850,000. You get the, I want to say, $25,000, somewhere around there, right? $850,000, they make it $25,000, somewhere around there. Or the point is, y'all, you don't get what you deserved. You don't get what you deserve. You know why? Because they put up most of the dough. To use smaller numbers, y'all, if it's $100, right, they take 85 and then you get the 15, okay? Just to use smaller numbers, right? I'm over here trying to use big numbers, and like I got a calculator in my head. But the point is, y'all, is that when you have that type of leverage, you can say, hey, keep your 85%, right? We're going to go over here and get respected by Def Jam, or we're going to go over here and get respected by this label. No. Yeah, keep your 85%. It's cool. But when you got that leverage, you can go to another record label and say, hey, no, we want to have 50-50. Or no, we want to have 60-40. Because guess what? We're going to put up our own money. We're going to put up our own dough. We're going to promote our own things, market our own things. We don't need you for anything. Why? Because number one, I am all around independent. We just need you for distribution. We want the machine behind us. Reno, what are you saying? That is what it looks like when you have leverage. You don't have to settle, is what I'm saying. Number 3, y'all, it's going to be this right here, family. Alone doesn't bother you, right? Alone does not bother you. Family, you cannot be afraid to be alone. Okay, I know it's easier said than done, but this is a true fact. You cannot be afraid of being alone. When you are afraid of being alone, you will allow people to step on you, run over you, lie to you, cheat on you, hurt you, beat you, or abuse you, manipulate you. The list goes on. You have to be so strong that you're willing to be alone. You know what, y'all? There was a case where I had to make a decision. Do I want to be with this woman, although she's causing me chaos? Sometimes she's good, but a lot of times she's insecure. A lot of times she's accusing me. A lot of times, I don't have the peace that I feel like I should have. Do I want to keep her here as a companion, or would I rather allow a friend to walk away? That's a hard decision, because you're not only breaking up with a woman or a person who you was in a relationship with, but this is also a friend. But if you don't have peace, if you don't have, that love, if you're starting to dislike this person, what do you have? At this point, now you got to make a decision for yourself to be happy. Happiness is everything. Somebody drop that down below in the comments. Happiness is everything. Okay? Make sure you drop in the comments, family, and say happiness is everything, right? But sticking to the point, y'all, if you are afraid to be alone, you're going to accept so much. So a person who is like, hey, I don't mind being alone. I'll go out to eat by myself. I'll go hang out by myself. I'll go to work by myself. I don't need you to accompany me, right? And listen, y'all, I know it's all on the side, but I just remember, if it's 850,000, that means that it should be around the 150,000 that they'll get, right? For the 15% deal, I want to say it's 150,000, right? I don't know why that didn't register right then, but anyway, y'all. Number 4 is going to be this right here, family. Self-worth, okay? Self-worth. When you have that self-worth, you have what we call value and confidence. Self-worth. You know why a lot of men settle for ain't-ish women? Because he has no self-worth. You know why a lot of women settle for ain't-ish men? He has no self-worth. She has no self-worth. When you develop self-worth, you are developing your confidence. You are developing your patience. Patience is key. Some people get impatient and they settle for Joe Blow. They settle for Keisha down the road. They settle for Pookie and Ray Ray. They settle because they wasn't patient. God is taking too long. But you didn't realize that God was actually trying to help you. He was trying to help heal you. He was trying to help mold you into the woman you needed to be to sustain that relationship, that marriage, to be able to be a great mother. Make sense what I'm saying, y'all? Drop in the comments and let me know. But self-worth makes you a weapon because you're not willing to accept anything. You're like, hey, I know y'all said we get chicken, but my self-worth says I get steak. So you know what? I'm going to move over here. And if they really want you, hey, you know what? We just got a call in. We got steak on this table over here. Yeah, I know you do, because that's my self-worth, and I'm not settling for less. It's called boundaries, y'all. It's called standards, y'all. Requirements. Certain thing you have to require, and if you don't require it, you never get it. That's just like a woman who never required marriage, but you in a 10, 15-year relationship. No marriage, though. It's because you didn't require it. You have to require it. That connects to your self-worth, okay? Moving on to number 5, family, is going to be this right here. Knowledge. Knowledge will always make you a weapon, okay? Anybody who reads a book is automatically a weapon. That's why they can't stand to see certain people who read books, right? What you reading? Why you reading? What you mean why I'm reading it? What you mean what I'm reading? Why you're not reading? You need to get on social media and just scroll. That's what all of us do. Well, that's why all of y'all are sheeps. That's why all of y'all are regular. That's why all of y'all are average, right? Shout out to Kevin Samuels. You're average at best. Somebody drop that down below in the comments. You are average at best, right? But see, when you're diving into your greatness, when you're tapping into your gift, when you are diving into your assignment and your calling and your purpose, you're not average no more. You're great. And the problem is, y'all, people get used to your greatness because they've been around it for so long, right? When you're born and all you see is Lamborghinis, you lose the value of a Lamborghini. You take a kid from the hood or a kid who always drove in Hondas, you give them that Lamborghini, watch how they appreciate it. Watch how they praise it. I'm not saying that they should idolize it. Don't get me wrong, y'all. Idolatry would never be okay, right? But I'm saying the value, the appreciation. People tend to take your greatness for granted, okay? But understand something, y'all. When you have that knowledge, people will understand how much of a weapon you are. You got to remain very knowledgeable, right? Knowledge is the difference between rich and poor. Knowledge is the difference in between raising your kids right and raising them wrong. Knowledge is the difference between health and being unhealthy. Knowledge is the difference between having good friends and bad friends. You have to have knowledge. What about the person who have a knowledge on creating and building a bomb? Whew, he's a real weapon. A person who have the knowledge of jujitsu, that's a real weapon. Knowledge, when you have learned something, you're able to do something with it as long as you apply it. And that's why a lot of people say, oh, knowledge is power. But honestly, y'all, it is applied knowledge that is power. You have to apply it, right? Once you apply it, you become a weapon. But with that being said, y'all, hope this video was able to get to y'all efficiently. Y'all drop in the comments down below and let me know if it did. But with that being said, family, we're going to conclude this video. Y'all be sure to get a Yes Sir t-shirt. Check out any one of those Yes Sir hoodies. Book a one-on-one session with your boy, okay? Enroll into my social influence course, or y'all can check out any one of my books. I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. Y'all keep a rich mentality. Peace.